Okay, welcome, friends and family. Really excited to be here with you today, coming into the end of March. And as Casey, my good friend, and I have went through how to win friends and influence people, we're wrapping this up, and we've gotten through all these chapters,
Hmm.
Casey, and it's been a journey to go
Yeah,
through this.
some great information.
Yeah, and in every life, one thing is for certain: we're going to get a little older. And in our lifetime, every year, we're just going to get a little older. But one thing that isn't for certain is that we get any better, that we grow mentally, spiritually. And this book has been a real journey for me. I really feel like since opening this book, cracking it open, it's helped me to learn how to work with people at a higher level,
Mm.
to be able to kind of move people from where they are to where maybe I need them to be, or hopefully where they want to be, and to do it with enough finesse that it doesn't necessarily ruffle feathers. And that isn't always easy to do.
Right.
When you're in a profession like you and I are, and I'm a founder of Elevate, a team leader, I still list and sell properties, and uh, family man with two children and married this year for going on 16 years. And so, life has a lot of pressure. And to be able to maneuver through life and not get the nosebleeds or the bumps, I feel like this book's really gave me a lot of insights on how to do that in all those areas. May I ask you, sir, when reading through this book, maybe what was one or two things that you really gleaned from it,
Yeah.
and perhaps how are you applying it?
So for me, my overall takeaway from that book comes from another book that we read and know, and it's the golden rule, right? It's treat
Mm,
others
mm,
how you want to be treated. Who doesn't want other people to take an interest in them, right? Like I want you to be interested in me and
mm,
what I enjoy and what I like. I like talking about those things because
mm,
that's what I enjoy. And who doesn't like being complimented or not being proven wrong in front of a crowd or all those
mm,
things who
mm,
I can
mm,
think of very few people. Well, I can't think of any people that I know that would enjoy the adverse side of those things.
right.
So I think it's really taken that one concept of treating
Mm,
people how you want to be treated and just really digging into that and kind of bullet pointing that out to, here's specific areas and how you can go about doing that exact thing.
mm,
Um, so overall, man, it's a great book for me. Um, for me, it's the drop of honey.
mm,
I'm naturally a clerical to the point
mm.
personality,
Right.
especially when I've got a strong belief in that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So for me, the chapter about the drop of honey is great because um, used to it never crossed my mind that I would just if I felt it was the truth or if I knew it was the truth, I was just going to say it, and how you took that was your problem, not mine.
Right.
But there are better ways of presenting that information, um,
For sure.
and working together through that. So that's really my biggest thing for me is really kind of slowing my tongue down and not letting my tongue get in front of my brain, using my ears more than my mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and really trying to give myself that space before I respond. I'm not listening to just give you a response. I'm listening to see, can I help you, and what's the best way that I can present the information you need to help you.
And this generation, probably more than in times past, they really need guidance. They need direction, but there's a way of saying it in a way that people will appreciate it and see it as help.
Hmm.
And then a whole nother way where they'll think, man, that guy's a jerk. If I didn't have to,
Yeah, he thinks he's better than me.
yeah, he's forgotten what
Yeah,
it's like to be everyday people.
yeah.
And so I like that for me, as I read through this book, it felt like you're going to have issues. I heard a pastor tell me one day, he said, Elijah, 40 people, more or less 40 problems. And I thought
Hmm.
that's the wrong way to look at that. That was my natural thought at that time. I thought that's just not the right way to look at it. But
It's probably a low number.
yeah, right. Right. But the thing is that with people come problems. There are problems. And when you're working around people and you're in a family and you have children, there's going to be disputes and problems that come up. And I think approach that a lot of folks will take is just sweep it under the table. Hope it
Hmm.
goes away. I know I've done that for years. but it doesn't seem like it ever goes away. It just seems like it piles up. And then I think the other approach is just get really upset, say what needs to be said, say it with fire, say it with temper, and it gets done. But there's resentment and bitterness that can come when it's handled that way.
Malicious compliance.
Malicious compliance. And at best, you know, you get somebody showing up maybe for a paycheck, or a wife or a husband or a spouse that will stay in the relationship until the kids are
Mm-hmm.
old enough to be able to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this book really helped, I feel like, balance that out. You know, don't go too far to the passive and not addressing it. I never felt like he said don't address it.
Right.
But and don't get all fired up and just demand people to do what you say. But find that balance and learn how to say it in a way that gets it done.
Yep. And being willing to, if you need to, take the blame, even if it's not yours to take,
Mm.
just in order to
Keep things moving forward.
keep things moving forward. So,
Yeah.
some great lessons in that book, man. And I know that we had kind of went partially the way through it before,
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago, together, and then fully went through it with the team. This time. So, that's I know like Lacey was doing an assignment for her master's program recently, and part of it was she's going to be a high school librarian and stuff, and part of it was what books would you recommend for different things, and she was having a hard time trying to pick topics. I said, "Why don't you just pick leadership, and then use like the John Maxwell resources and stuff?" And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that book was on the
Mm-hmm.
list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it came to that, it's a phenomenal book. Listen, I'm not a reader. I never have been. I don't claim to be. I've read more books since I've been with you now the last 5 years than I probably did in my entire scholastic career, K through 12 and in college combined.
Yes.
Just being 100% transparent. I'm the guy who would get the cliff notes and get enough to make an 80 or higher on the test, and that's what I did.
Yep.
Um,
And you could do that and get away with it.
and so I've not been a reader, but I thoroughly enjoyed that book. I'll be
Good.
100%
Good.
honest and transparent. I thoroughly enjoyed that book.
Good. Well, man, I've enjoyed the book and I've enjoyed the relationship, the friendship. I learned a lot from watching you, the way you go about things, and I think we can learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. So, you know, to me, just like KC said, when you read a good book like this, it's like you can just hang out with a friend. Dale Carnegie is still here in a way,
Mhm.
teaching and training us how to best get along with everyday people. And like you said, KC, right off the bat, it really goes back to that golden rule. If we'll treat others like we want to be treated, we'll get a lot further in life. God often deals with me about why are you trying to take the beam out of somebody else's eye when you got one bulging out of yours? And if and really it's hard to help others if we don't help ourselves. And how do we
Right.
help ourselves? We get better at learning how to present and deal with issues in a way that really helps get it right. Maybe don't fix it as long as they're watching. It's fixed, but as soon as they leave, they go back to doing whatever they want to do.
Mhm.
When you really get the beam out of your eye and you really can see clearer, people are attracted to that and they want to be able to do that. Most people just don't know how to. Dale Carnegie, I think, was a great guide in teaching us how to do that. So, folks, we appreciate you. Thank you for working through this series with us. I'm sure we'll be coming back with some more exciting stuff to continue to talk about throughout this year, 2025. Again, we've enjoyed this journey. Hope it's added some value to you. When we can do anything, let us know. Thank you.